Hey everyone, how are you doing today? Guys, it has been a few days. So today I am here to read with you again, and I hope that you are ready to read English. Guys, get active in the comment section. Tell us how you're doing today. Share with us where you're from. Let us know where you're from. And let us know how your reading journey has been going in terms of you reading English. Well, learning how to read English. How has your journey been going? So, comment in the comment section, guys. Let us know how your journey has been going. And if you guys are having a good time learning how to read English, also be sure to tell us where you're viewing from so that we can ensure that we do this reading session catering for your improvement based on where you're from. We would be able to help you to improve as you continue to learn how to read English. Remember that, guys, you can always come on screen to read with me. It's always a pleasure having you guys on screen reading with me as you try to practice to improve your English. So if you guys want to come on screen to read, if you want to come on screen to free talk, I'm here and we can do that. There's a link in the comment section that you can click on, and that link would allow you to come up on screen to read. Also, be sure to share this live with a friend. Do that, guys. Share this live with a friend. I would appreciate this so much if you can share the live with a friend. And yeah, so comment in the comment section, guys. I want to see you there. Comment in the comment section. Tell us where you're viewing from, and let's get started. I know you guys are ready. You are all anticipating what we're going to be reading about today. And today we are going to be continuing with this English short story. And this story is all about switching uh, places to live or living in a different place and learning about the culture of that place. As we know, in every place, the culture is different. Sometimes we may have similar things in terms of our culture, but uh, it is different. So, guys, we are learning here about the Western and the Eastern culture, how different they are. So, get active, guys, in the comment section. Let me know where you're viewing from. All right, so I know that you guys can hear me clearly, and let's appreciate internet for that you guys can hear me clearly and that we are able to use this medium to learn. All right, guys, so I'm not seeing anyone currently in the comment section, so we are just going to get right into it. Okay? If you're ready to get right into it, then I am ready too. All of us, we are ready. Let's just get started. So, how have you been practicing in terms of trying to improve your English? What are some of the things that you do? Do you have any ways that you try to improve your English? Share with me so that I can share some with you. I can share a lot of practical examples that you can use if you really want to improve your English. If it is your desire to ensure that your English is at a stage where you can speak very fluently, then we can always share. Remember, here we are actually sharing this short story that shares a perspective of someone who lives in the eastern side of the world or in the east, and someone who lives in the western side of the world. And we are seeing how their cultures are different. And culture is one of the things that we always have to pay lots of attention to, as culture would determine the usage of a lot of words in English. So this would deal with the pragmatics of the language and the morphology of the language, along with the semantics when it comes to the culture. So the morphology would actually be dealt with how the words are made up in English. Some English words, they are made up from like Latin and Greek words. Uh, you also have English words that would mean certain things depending on how it is made up in terms of whether it was used or derived from the Latin or from the Greek culture. So all these can help you with understanding the words, and they can also help you with learning how to read English in a way that can really transform your perspective in terms of reading in itself. So let's go ahead and let's learn some English. Let's read English here on Read English 101. And thank you to you beautiful persons who have joined me. It is such a beautiful feeling to have you here. So let's go ahead and we're going to begin with our portion that we did last time, or the part that we did last time. And this is to help you to really gain context or gain meaning of the story so you're able to read it fluently. So, what we'll do is that we'll repeat the difficult words that we looked at in our last session, and this is just to help you to basically improve your pronunciation or um, your automaticity in terms of calling these words. If you want vocabulary for the words, please go back and check our previous live where we did vocabulary on those same words. And we also broke those words, we decoded those English words in order to call them. So that would also be healthy for you. If you have any questions, guys, go ahead and post your questions in the comments. We love to hear from you. So let's call the words that we found difficult last time. Students, opposite, sides, world. Remember, if you're using the American English, then you'll say world. West, other, east, traded, life, abroad, others, country, foreign, where. Oftentimes, this word is taken or mistaken for the word were. The difference is that whenever you see this word, when it has the H, remember it's where, as in a place. And when it is used as were, the H would be missing from the word. And were would be the past tense in terms of the to be verb. So were is used for more than one subject. So when you have more than one person referred to in your sentences, then you use were. They, opportunity, opportunity, live, live. And remember, this word can also say live. You have to really look at the context, the meaning of what you're reading to know whether it is live or live. Study, via. This word You can also hear it being pronounced as via, cultural, exchange, program, between, high, schools. Remember, if you want vocabulary and you want to learn how to decode those words, how to break them down into parts to get the correct pronunciation, then you can go back to the previous live to get more on this. We are just going over this part of it to ensure that we have context for our reading. Let's go ahead now and read this text. Two students from opposite sides of the world, one in the West and the other in the East, traded life abroad in each other's country, a country that was foreign to them, where they had the opportunity to live and study via a cultural exchange program between high schools. All right, if you were able to do that, then thumbs up to you. So let's read it one more time, and then we're going to move on to our next segment where we're going to be decoding the words. All right. Two students from opposite sides of the world, one in the West and the other in the East, traded life abroad in each other's country, a country that was foreign to them, where they had the opportunity to live and study via a cultural exchange program between high schools. All right, so here, in order for us to get the context of the story, we see that there are two students. They are from two different places, one from the East, one from the West, and basically they have exchanged their countries. So the one from the East went to the West, the one from the West um, went to the other place. Come in. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry for that interruption. So, like I was saying, that here there are two students, one from the East, one from the West, and they basically exchanged life with each other. So, the one in the East now went to the West, the one from the West went to the East, and they are living in each other's shoes. So, they are trying to understand the life in each other's country. And to them, this life is foreign. We know foreign means something that is strange. Anything that is foreign, it is strange. And this was an opportunity that was granted to them or given to them through a cultural exchange program. So when we hear about cultural exchange, we are actually talking about an exchange where you're going to try to learn the culture of that country. So at the end of that program, you should be able to more or less bring that culture back to your land. And currently, we see a lot of those programs in different places. Some of them may involve working, some of them may involve studying, and the likes. So, even sports. So these are programs that you can actually get involved in if you want to learn the culture of someone else's country. And these students, they were actually high school students. And you know, when you're young, it's very easy for you to capture stuff, as in you would be more energetic or you would want to explore more or to discover more. And so I can imagine how these students, they actually were open to explore more of each other's country. Have you ever had anything like this before? Have you went to live in another country, maybe for a short time, or maybe you would have had an experience of a cultural exchange program? Have you ever experienced anything like that before? If so, guys, please comment in the comment section and let us know. Say, yes, I did. And let us know how it was for you. Did you have a good one? Was it one that you can say, hey, this was really good? I did enjoy that. Huh? Well, I've had experiences in cultural programs before because at one point in my life, and at that point I was very young too. I was at 18 years old when I traveled throughout the Caribbean with a group of persons from different Caribbean countries, and we represented our countries going through different schools and we were performing. So, what we did is that we showcased our culture to different Caribbean islands. And a lot of persons, they thought, well, all Caribbean islands, their cultures are the same. Our cultures are very similar, but they are not necessarily the same. We have similar things, and in a lot of cases, but they may have like an expanse to them. So, for example, in my culture, we may have like calypso here in our culture. We may have what we call raga soca, and we may have power soca. But then in a culture like Jamaica, you would have reggae and those other music. So they have music too, but their type of music is not the same, right? So yes, we may sound very similar, but we are not the same. All right, so let's begin. If there's anything that you guys want to free talk about when it comes to what we're talking about, you go right ahead. So now we are going to move on to the next part of the story. And here's where we are going to actually be reading the words. So last time we decoded these words too. We said that the U makes a long sound, so we hear you. So we hear st, you, and then we hear d. We say en is a rhyme in English for words like ten, ben, hen. So we hear n, and then we can add t, and we can get n. That's the ending for a lot of English words. So we hear st, you, d, stewed, and then we hear ent, student. Once you can call the word, go ahead and add the song that the S makes at the end. So we hear students, students. Who are students? Students are persons who are actually learning. They are more or less trying to gain new knowledge. These students may be at a higher level in universities, or they may be at a lower level, let's say preschool education, or even what you would call early childhood education, or even elementary education. So we'll call them you, stew, d, and ent. Student, we add the S sound, we hear students. Persons who are trying to gain new knowledge or who are learning. Our next word, you, then we hear n. Whenever e is at the end silent, a lot of times the vowel that comes before would make a sound like calling its name. So in this way, we hear the I calling its name. So we hear you, n, I, t, unite, and then we add the ed sound. Whenever words in English ends with t or d, a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but yes, The rule is that the ed will make the id sound. So in English, you have different songs for ed at the end, and you have id, you have t, and you have d. So you have to be able to recognize which song to use by learning the rules. Remember, whenever the word ends with a t sound or a d sound, then you would hear the it sound. So the word is unite, unite, and it, united. What does it mean to be united? When you're united, it means that you are together. It means that you work well, you're joined together. Okay? So we can use words like join. We can say that you're together when you are united or you're working along with each other. Then we hear st. The same rule applies here. The E at the end silent. Most time the vowel call its name. In this case, the vowel is calling its name. So we hear A. So we hear st, it, state. And the S song, let's add it, states, states. Also, you can look in this word and you can see the small word eat, as in when you have eaten something, or when you put something in your mouth, chew it, and then swallow, you say you ate it. Yes. So here we have eat, that small word. All right. Are you okay so far, guys? Let me know if you are doing okay. Guys, be sure to watch the ads playing as we continue to read. So we're going to our next word now. Our next word is the word, and this word you might be very familiar with it. However, guys, you may not know the correct way to pronounce it, or you may not have learned how it's segmented. So let's begin with that word. So we have sk, sk. So the S makes the song s, the CH makes the song k. So the CH can make ch, it can say k, and it can say ch. In this case, we hear k. Like in Christmas, the CH makes the song k. All right. Was that something that you're familiar with? I'm sure you are. All right. So let's go sk. And then we hear the two O's says oo and l. Remember, two O's can say O, like in book. It can also say oo, like in words like tool. You can hear oo. So let's call the word now. School, school. And if you teach yourself how to read this way, when it's time for you to read bigger words, it will become so easy for you to read those words. Right, guys? I'm sure it will be. Our next word, ch, CNH. This time we hear ch. We don't hear k. We hear ch. And then the I makes the sound I, n, and a. Let's put it together. Ch, I, chai, n, a. China. China. And we know China is a big country. Have you went to China before? If you did, how was it? Did you have a grand time in China? Did you get to climb that Great Wall of China? That's something that I would love to do one day, to climb the Great Wall in China. I just pray that God give me the health and the strength to be able to really achieve that one day in life. How about you? Would you like to climb it? Are you that outdoor person that would like to climb the Great Wall of China? If so, guys, say yeah. Let me know that you are ready to do that, that you are excited to do those type of things. All right, let's go ahead now and let's read our sentence. Now that we know the words, let's call them one more time. Students, United States, school, China. Let's now read from the top. The students were from the United States and a school in China. Okay, how was that for you? Do you find it easier to read? I'm sure you did. Let's go ahead now and let's look at our next word. Remember this word, because it's always complex to call and spell some of these words, we always want you to pay attention to them. The TH in this one makes the song D, like the D sound. Remember, TH can also make the song th, where your tongue goes between your teeth. And then we hear the EY makes the song the A. EY can say E also, like in the word money and honey. You hear EY making the sound E. But please note, EY can also make the sound A, like in obey, day, and these words. And this day is talking about persons. It refers to when you have more than one person coming together and you are not a part of that group, then you would say they. Here we have the word were, and we hear the W make the sound W. The ER here says and the E at the end is silent. I know sometimes this word can be very complex for a lot of English users, and that's because ERE in English often, most cases, you would hear it say air, as in here, when you talk about a place, you would hear air in the word, right? However, in this word, we have the exception to the rule where the ER makes the sound and the E at the end is silent. So remember, guys, in English, you can find a lot of variations, and that is why English language is so difficult to read. So with practice, it would help you to improve. With practice, you become fluent, and that's what we want you to do here. So our next word, the E and X, we hear X, 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 and then when C comes before E, I, or Y, most times it makes a song like S, so it says S. So we have X, that same rule that we apply for states and we apply for unite, where the E at the end is silent and the I makes the song where it calls its name. So therefore, we'll say X, I, and T, and then excite. So our word ends with a T, excite, because remember the E silent. So the last song that we hear is T, excite. And then we add the it song, because remember when words in English ends with T or D, the song T or D song, then you add id. So we hear excite, id, excited. The ed makes the id sound. Excited. What does it mean to be excited, guys? To be excited means that you are happy, right? What other words can we use for excited? I know you guys, you love to be excited. And some of us, we like the excitement. So excited, what other words can we use? We can say that you're eager. We can also say that you are enthusiastic. When you are excited, you're eager, you're enthusiastic. How many of us have been there where we feel so excited about something? I'm sure that lately you may have been having some exciting days. Have you? Our next word, out, about. Here we can call this small word out, and we can say ab and out, or we can sound it right out. We can say ab, or you makes the sound out, and then we hit about. What does it mean to be about? When you are about something, what does that mean? So, about is actually when you are on a subject or when you are around something, when you are moving, when you are like going throughout something, all over something, or around something, then you would say that you are about. Okay. How are we doing now? Are we going well, guys? Okay, our next word we have ch, CNH, making that sound ch. Then we hear an, ch, an. When C comes before E, I or Y, we hear a song like S. So we hear S. The E at the end is silent. So we hear ch, ants, ch, ants, chance, chance. Guys, chance is a word that we love these days. We love to talk about things happening by chance. And when we talk about something happening by chance, a lot of times we sometimes say we believe, or sometimes we say that we don't believe. So we have that opposing and that view that proposes towards it. So chance is actually a possibility for something happening, right? Or sometimes we use the word the odds of something happening or the risk, or sometimes we talk about the likelihood of something happening. So these are words that we can also use to mean the same as chance. We can use the word possibility, we can use the word likelihood, we can use the word odds, we can use the word risk. Any one of those words can be used interchangeably with the word chance. And is there anything that have happened in your life recently that has happened by chance, or that you think or thought happened by chance? What is something that happened in your life and you think it's chance? Huh? Think of meeting someone. Do you think that it's by chance that you've met someone recently? Uh, do you think it's by chance? Or do you think, or another word we can also use for chance is accidentally? Do you think it's by accident that you have met someone? Or do you think that that was fate? Or do you think that, you know, it had to be that way? Let me know, guys. I would love to hear from you. I always love to hear from you guys. All right. So, a lot of the times, I don't really believe in chance like that. I believe that if I meet someone, that person has a place in my life in terms of the trajectory of my life in some way. That person will help to shape my life. So whether it's by a word of encouragement, or whether it is by something negative that they have said that can help me to really think, as it may provoke my thoughts, or if something positive that can provoke my thoughts, or maybe some action they would do, or you know, yeah, so that it can help me to move forward. So I really don't believe in the whole issue of chance. Okay, but if you do, then you go right ahead and believe it. Okay, so we have the word, the part here, X, and remember when something is X, it means that it is something that is former or something that has already happened in the past, y x is added to it. So we have x. The e makes a long song, so we hear x p e. Then r, we hear the short I sound e, a, sorry, and then we hear n, like we saw in student. We hear n, and the c comes before e, just like in chance. So we hear s. The e at the end is silent. So we have x, p, e, r, a, experience, and then we have ends, experience, experience. So the word is experience. This whole ending right here, we can put it together to say that it says ends, right? Because it's a ending that we'll find in a lot of English words. We'll find that it's ending that says ends in many English words. So it would be healthy for you to learn that ending. That would help you to learn a lot of words. So you can just call the first part of the word and then add that ending sound to it. So the word there is experience. Our next word, we hear d, if. We can just put the small word together there. If, diff, and then we hear a, differ, and then we hear r, and then we hear n, just like we hear n in experience and in student. So the word is d, if, and then we hear r and different, diff, r, and then and. So we hear d, if, and then r, and then and, different. So in different, the e is actually silent. We don't hear the song for the e, okay? This e. So we hear diff and rent, different, different, different. You don't say different. Okay, I know a lot of you might want to join the E and R together to say, oh, no, that would be incorrect. So remember, in different, we hear diff, and then we hear r, ent, different. Remember, we've already learned ent because we learned it from student, that ENT says ent. And now we can just add the r sound to it to get the word rent. And some of us, we pay rent. That's a monthly thing that we pay. That's when we live in a home that does not belong to us and we have to pay the landlord. We'll pay rent. So that word is different. So always in spelling, remember that there's an E in between here that is silent. And remember, in different, you double the F. For those of you who are working on spelling, always remember to double the F in different. Our next word, we hear K. We can put U and L together to say L, cull. Then we hear T. And then we hear Their E at the end is silent. So we hear K, L. The T actually makes a CH sound. You know, T, when it comes before URE, it can say je, like in the word treasure. So we can hear a ZH song. In this case, we're hearing a CH song. So we say K, L, call, and then ch, and then culture. So the T is actually making a CH song. And you may find that in a lot of words like picture, capture, all those words. You'll hear the T making a CH song. That's why you might see people spelling the word with CH rather than the T. You always have to remember that it is a T making the song in those words. So the word is culture. All right. Our next word, we have ep, rep. So in this one, you may tend to say re because R and E together in most words says re at the beginning, like that prefix. However, in this word, that's not what is being used. That prefix is not being used. Instead, you sound out each part. So you'll say r, ep, rep, and then r, or you can put the P and R together. You can say r, ep, r, and then we hear e, and then we hear z. So the S, when S comes before E, I, even A, and sometimes U, we can hear a lot of times, we can hear a song like Z. So for example, in the word his, we hear Z at the end for the S. So we hear R, E, pr, and then E. Sorry, E. Remember the E is making a long song, E. So we hear R, E, pr, E, repri, and then we hear Z, and then we see that same ending ent, like in different and student. So our word is ep, rep, re, and then we hear z, ent, represent. Or you can break this word like this. You can say pre, say it's pre, like preschool. That's a suffix, a prefix that you use for a lot of words, pre. So you can say ep, re, and then you say pre and z and ent, represent. Easy as that. So you can break your words in different ways to get what you want from them. Represent. Our next word, we hear the TH make the sound like D. So we hear D. And then EIR says air, just like ERE says air, and AIR says air, and EAR says air. In a lot of English words, they all say air. So we hear d, air, there. And this there is like when you're talking about persons, and you are not a part of that group. So you would say there. And this will be used it could be used in a subject pronoun. So you use it to replace a subject. Sorry, correction. It could be used as a subject pronoun. Yes, that's what I said here. So it could replace a noun in the subject. Okay. It can also be used in the object pronoun too. It can be used in both. Yeah. Our next word, k, the O is silent. So the OU we can say says or you can make the sound it can say or you can make so many different sounds. Be careful with OU. So in this one we hear so we hear k, then then tr, and the IE makes the sound E. The I is silent, the E makes the sound. So we hear E, the long song, and then we hear the S. Put it together, k, on, con, then tr, is, countries. Okay, a lot of you may want to say countries because this, if you put this as a word, it would say tries. However, in this word, we hear the E sound for the IE rather than the I sound. So countries. And you hear the S at the end. You heard the sound that it makes, right? You hear countries. You don't hear countries. You say countries. So the S at the end make a sound like Z. Be always careful as you're going to pronounce the word incorrectly. All right. So not countries and not countries. Countries. It's not countries or countries, but it's countries. Countries. And what are countries? Countries are actually different land masses around the world that have their own uh, state, or it's like they go by their own rules. Uh, They have their own government. They are actually known as a nation. You would call them a country, right? Our next word, we have or. The A is silent. We hear the O makes a short sound, so we hear abroad, abroad. Some of you may say abroad. Abroad would be incorrect. So if you try to call the word as road, then that's going to be incorrect. Don't do it, guys. Instead, you're going to say abroad, abroad. The O makes a short sound. We hear O while the A is silent. So we hear O, right? So OA can say O, it can say O too. Because remember, when two vowels are together, sometimes the vowel that speaks can make a short song. It does not always have to make a long song where it calls its name. So be very careful with that. All right. How are we going now, guys? Are we going well? Are you guys getting through? Okay. I assume so because for me it's going well. So the word is abroad. Our next word, and what does abroad means? Abroad means when you are overseas or when you are in a strange or foreign land, you would say that you are abroad. Or when you are out of your country, you would say that you are abroad. Any one of those can work and can be used to say that you are abroad. Are you currently abroad? And at this moment, are you currently out of the country that you were born in or the place where you were given birth in? Are you in that country or you are in a new country? So if you are in a new country, doesn't matter how long you have lived there, then you're still abroad. How about that? So we have E. We hear the E making a long song. And then we have est, like in the word best and nest. We have that rhyme, e. The E makes the sound e, the ST says st, est. So we have sim, and then est, semest, and then semester. If you're using American English, remember the ER, they roll their ER as in make it out a bit longer. So you'll hear so you hear semester. But if you're using the British English, the ER is called as in the schwa sound. So we hear semester, right? So be very careful with the difference in pronunciation when it comes to the way that it sounds. Our next word, we have done this word a while ago, so we don't need to do this one. Dear. That's the same word. The D makes a sound, the EIR says air. And that one you should remember very easily. All right, let's go ahead and read this whole sentence. And then we have one more sentence to go. And we are soon done. We're going to try to be done at the top of the hour. We have about uh, 12 minutes remaining in our session in order for us to complete an hour of reading today. Remember, reading for 10, 15, 20 minutes per day, it is very healthy. It helps to keep your mind stable. So it's something mentally attractive that you can do. It also helps you to exercise your mind or your mental state. So that's really good for you. So always try to read um, per day, even if it's not anything too long, even if it's a 5 minutes. Try to read something. Let's go ahead and read this. They were excited about the chance to experience a different culture and represent their countries abroad for a semester. How is that for you? Let's now read directly from the top to see how well you're going to be doing. The students were from the United States and a school in China. They were excited about the chance to experience a different culture and represent their countries abroad for a semester. How was that? So we have learned the different parts of the word. We have learned how to read in English by breaking the words into parts, by learning the phonics of the or the phonology of each word. And this would definitely help you, especially if you apply it in reading other words that look similar or that has similar pronunciation. Hence the reason you would find that I give you the different songs and not just one song, so that you can use the different songs and see which one sounds like a word that is a real word. Okay. So are you able to call all those words? If you are, then please note that I am so proud of you. So we're going to read it one more time and then we're going to do our final sentence. So let's go ahead. The students were from the United States and a school in China. They were excited about the chance to experience a different culture and represent their countries abroad for a semester. And what does the word semester means? Remember, we are also looking at vocabulary. We really want you to improve your vocabulary. So the word semester, when you use the word semester, a lot of times you hear about this word in school. Semester is actually like a term, right? It can be used for saying half of the school year, or it can be used for talking about a term within the school year. And whether it's university or school itself, whatever it is. That's how our school terms are being broken down in the western side of the world into semesters, right? So it's just one of those period uh, for our school year that we would call our semester. So that period that runs until we are able to get some holidays, we would call it a semester. And are you currently having a good semester if you are a student? Are you having a good semester? How is your semester going? Well, for me as a teacher, I think that my semester it has been good despite its challenges. I must say that it has been good despite its challenges. I have seen a lot of areas of growth in my students. I have also seen a lot of things that I can work on and that I can really change to help my students to adjust. I teach writing, and I think that that's one of the most difficult area for students generally when it comes to academics. And it's just a pity that uh, that is one area that would continue throughout their whole life, whether they like it or believe it, because even when you go to higher education, university, whatever it is, you would always have to be writing papers. And, it's not a joke because even the highest level of education require you to be writing paper. I mean, you can have your skill and you can be very good at your skill, but you're still required to be writing. So I think it's one of the important things that children really need to learn from a ground level of how to develop the foundation of writing. And once they develop the foundation of writing in a way that is wholesome for them, I can see how they can blossom in their future, even with simple tasks as speaking. I can see how their oral language can also develop, and even their reading, because as they write, they can also want to dig or dive deeper into reading so that they can get ideas to write about. Because one thing I would say is that reading and writing, they go hand in hand. No matter whatever anyone ever say to you, always remember that. If you read a lot, you become a good writer. Um, most cases, especially if you can comprehend what you're reading. So I think those are some of the hard points that I always have to teach my students. And, it's just amazing sometimes when you watch the growth in the students to see how much their writing has been refined. It gives you that joy. I mean, you want to even go further and push them further, but you know that it takes a lot of time and patience. And, with all that, you'll see the results at a later time. And for me, I think that's one of the things that always more or less thrills me to see that growth. That yeah, I recall that even my students that I taught last um semester, right? Those students who are now in a new class, I was, taken aback when they came to me and were like, Miss, I want to thank you. And I said, what do you want to thank me for? They want to thank me for the days that I've been doing writing with them, because I always used to say to them, if you don't like it here, then you may have to like it somewhere along the line, because you are going to be doing it as you keep going. And they're like, no, Miss, I understand what you were saying, because we have so much more writing to do now that we are in a higher grade. And I'm like, yeah. And I did warn you. And they were like, yes, Miss, you did. And they want to thank me so much for, really planting that seed for them to encourage them to, be better writers, to be able to critique others' writing using rubrics and using the standard of writing different pieces and so on. And, those things, they really thrill you as a teacher when students, and it's not just one or two or three students, it's a lot of them. I can think, if I can really think throughout the term, I think I hear them different days coming and saying the same thing, you know, and it's without me asking them anything about it. I just meet them and say, hey, how are you doing today? Or this, they hey to me first, and then they'll start saying things like that. And, sometimes you just empathize so much with them when they start saying this, but, you know, it's hard. We have so many pieces to do. It's not like we don't know what to do. We know what to do because you've taught us what to do, but it's like we have so much writing to do. I'm like, okay, now you understand the value of writing. Okay, guys. So that's just a bit of rambling there, but I hope you understand the rambling. Let's keep going. Let's continue with what we're doing so we can finish on the hour. We have like 2 more minutes to finish on the hour, but we know we're not going to get through with the 2 minutes. We'll get through maybe in 7, 8 minutes. Let's go ahead. Our next word, this follows the same rule as in state, where the E at the end is silent and the A call its name. So it's that same rule as in unite, where the E at the end is silent and the I call its name. So we know that these are vowels, and most cases, not all cases, but most cases, the vowel will call its name. So we hear n, aim, name, name. Then we add the S sound, we hear names. And basically, we know what a name is. But for those of us who do not know what a name is, or for those of us who need a reminder, a name is basically a word that is attached to a person or thing or place. Um, and this word would just basically give a title to you, right? Or a label to you. And that's what you would call a name. So it is just a word, or it could be a set of words in some cases by which a person, a thing, a place is known by. All right. Our next word, we did this word before, so we can see it right here. So it's w. The er says the e at the end is silent. So our word is w, were. Remember in English, a lot of times we hear the ER say air, but in this case we hear were. And this is the to be verb that is used in the past tense. Our next word is al, and then we hear l and e. So the word is al e, Sally. So sal e, Sally. We don't say Solly. We don't say Solly. So we don't call the ALL. We know that to be the word all, but we don't say all. In instead, we'll say al e, Sally. 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 Okay? Not Solly. Sally. Sally. And Sally, it's a very common name in English for ladies or girls, especially back in the days. Today, you would not hear a lot of persons naming their kids Sally, but back in the days, there were a lot of persons with the name Sally. And Sally is actually used to be like in some of those nursery rhymes. There's a popular nursery rhyme: Sally go round the moon, Sally go round the sun, Sally go round the mango tree on a Saturday afternoon. Put your right foot in, put your left foot out. Take a little, and turn yourself around. Ooh, Sally. So Sally was a really, really popular name back then in English. And I'm sure that you may have heard someone with that name before, especially someone who's older. But these days, you do not find a lot of persons naming their kids Sally. So if you know someone with the name Sally, just put it in the comment section, guys. And remember, if you want to join me to read, guys, and free talk about what we're reading, you just click the link in the comment section or get active with me. Our next word is, and remember in Sally, you do not say al. So you don't say Sally, Sally. It's Sol, Solly, Sa, ah, Sally, ah. Okay? Because when you say all, you hear oh, oh. You hear a different song for the A. But when you say Sally, you hear ah, Sal, E, Sally. Okay? All right, guys. Our next word, we hear E, the short I song, R, E, and then we hear K and An. So we hear the small word can. So our word is R, E, Ameri, and can. American. American is our word. So Ameri and can. American. Who is an American? So an American is a native person from America, somebody who was born and raised in America. You would call them American. Or someone who holds that nationality, you can also call them an American. Our next word, we did this word also, you, stewed, and then here ent, student. And we have been having that ending for a bit today. We had it in the word different, in the word student, and then we have that word student again. And who is a student? A student is someone who is learning or gaining new knowledge, whether at university, at early childhood, or preschool. That person is still a student. Our next word, we hear we. Our next word, ch here makes the song ch. I. We hear the I say I. Then we hear n. The E at the end is silent, so we're gonna hear this E say E. So we hear ch, I, n, chin, E. The S makes a song like Z. So we hear ch, I, n, chin. The E makes a song E, a long song, chin, E. Then the S makes a song like Z, Chinese, Chinese, Chinese. Remember, the E at the end is silent, hence the reason this E makes the sound E. All right. So our word is I, that I call its name here, a long song, Chinese, Chinese. And who's a Chinese? A Chinese would be someone who is native to China, is a native to China, someone who was born there or have lived there for years and now acquire citizenship there. You would call them a Chinese. Our next one is you, stewed, and then ent. So student is a word that was really popular today. We had it in one, two, three parts of our reading. So by now, if you didn't know the word student, that word should be very, very, very noticeable for you. As in, you should be able to call it very easy. All right, guys. So we have done a lot with learning how to read English by decoding words. We have learned a lot of phonics, how to read English by using phonics or phonology. And now we have also learned how to call them as whole words. We have learned the vocabulary in English. I have even given you some background knowledge of some of these words. So I hope that this would help you a lot in improving your English. And now we're going to call these words in whole words, and then we are going to read our text. Once we finish reading our text 2 times, then we're going to stop there. If you wish to come and read it just to practice out loud, then you can click the link in the comment section and you can come and read it and get your practice. What I'll do is that I'll repeat the songs or the pronunciation for the words to help you with words that you are still mispronouncing. All right. So I'm sure that you would improve with the knowledge that you've gained based on phonics and based on your spelling, based on reading. I'm sure that you would show some sort of improvement. And for me, every little improvement, it counts. And I would encourage you to believe that it does count and that it will go a very long way. All right. And remember, I believe in you. I believe that you can make it. You just have to have that drive to make it. So let's go ahead and let's read this sentence. Then we are going to be calling the whole words. Their names were Sally, an American student, and we, a Chinese student. All right. How was that, guys? I'm sure that was good. So now let's go ahead and let's see how well we can do this by calling the words, trying to remember them now as whole words. Students, United States, United States, school, China, they were excited about chance, experience, different culture, represent countries abroad, semester, semester, their names were Sally, American, student, we, Chinese, student. All right, guys. Now I hope that you're ready to read with me because I'm ready to read. And we are going to sound very fluent because now we know the songs, now we know the words, how to pronounce them as whole words. Let's see if we can read through it fluently. Ready to go? I'm ready, so let's go. I'm ready, 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 go. The students were from the United States and a school in China. They were excited about the chance to experience a different culture and represent their countries abroad for a semester. Their names were Sally, an American student, and we, a Chinese student. How was that for you? Let me know. How did that go for you? How was that, guys? Were you able to read it fluently? Or do you still need a lot of practice? Let's do it one more time. Then we are going to stop there to free talk. Ready to go? Let's go. The students were from the United States and a school in China. They were excited about the chance to experience a different culture and represent their countries abroad for a semester. Their names were Sally, an American student, and we, a Chinese student. Guys, let me know how that was for you. Did you enjoy doing that? Do you think you were able to read it very fluently? If so, let me know, guys, in the comments. If you wish to free talk now, please let me know what area you would love to talk about. Would you love to talk about representing your country abroad? Would you love to talk about the fact that the students were from two different nations? Or would you like to talk about having a chance, being given a chance or an opportunity? Or would you like to talk about something that you were excited about? Would you like to talk about the United States itself? Or would you like to talk about China itself? Or would you just like to talk about school? Let me know. Whichever you would like to talk about, we can free talk. All right? Let me know, guys. Is there anything you want to talk about? Go ahead, comment in the comment section or click the link to join to free talk. All right. If I don't see anyone clicking the link to free talk, then we're going to read it one more time. And then we're going to stop there for today since we have gone past our hour. Going once, guys. Going twice. Going three times. I don't see anyone. So let's read it one more time. And we're going to stop there for today. Remember, we are reading English, and here we are on English 101. That's where we learn the foundation stages of reading English, how to really decode words, how to encode words, how to break them apart and put them back together, how to blend words, how to segment words. We also learn the meaning of words using the vocabulary of the words. And we learn how to use the words as native English speakers would use them so that we can get very close to speaking like native English speakers. All right, remember we are learning British English and we are also learning American English at the same time. We are learning both English at the same time. And guys, I can also give you some Caribbean flavors in it where you can learn some patois or some Caribbean dialect if you would like that. I know. So if you like that, you can also let me know and I can teach you some Caribbean dialect. I know you guys are very familiar with Jamaican dialect, but Jamaican dialect is not the only dialect in their world, okay? But yes, I can teach you some Jamaican dialect too. All right, so let's go ahead and let's read. The students were from the United States and a school in China. They were excited about the chance to experience a different culture and represent their countries abroad for a semester. Their names were Sally, an American student, and we, a Chinese student. All right, guys. Hope that you enjoyed reading today with me and that you have now learned the words students, United States, United States, school, China, they were excited about chance, experience, different, culture, represent their countries abroad, semester, their names were Sally, American student, we, Chinese student. All right, guys, if you ever learned all those words, I am so proud of you. And I know that you can continue to do well once you continue to keep focus and you just continue to strive to improve in terms of be very active with speaking English or reading English, and also you can find a partner or stay active on this channel so that you can learn the root or foundational steps in order to learn how to read English fluently and you can become a fluent English reader. Let's continue to practice reading English and hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to share the video with someone that you know would be interested in this type of content, learning how to read English or learning English vocabulary, learning English grammar, learning English spelling, learning English pronunciations, learning English in all its sense in terms of reading, vocabulary, comprehension, everything. So continue to keep practicing, and I hope to see you guys again very soon. All right. So thank you so much for watching. Read English 101. I appreciate you guys being here. It is certainly a pleasure to have you here. All you OGs, thank you for being here. And those of you who continue to share, watch, who have subscribed, thank you for being here to read English, to learn how to pronounce English, and to learn English.